All right, 77% of employees report AI has increased workloads and hampered productivity, study finds. The rise in AI has caused a mixture of excitement and fear as it becomes a standard part of our lives. Some say it's a risk to civilization as we know it. Really, the only risk to civilization is that everything reaches peak speed in shitification. I believe there's something that's like the DE over DT, right? So it's the derivative of enshittification, and right now this is like a slightly sloped curve, right? It's just a slightly slope, so it's kind of like it's kind of parabolic. But once we integrate AI, I think we're just shooting straight up, right? Just actually straight up. Okay, the DE with respect to time is going wild. While others insist it will transform the way we work, live, and interact with one another, the part that is not debatable is that not only is AI not going away, it's on an upswing. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, as much as we try to pretend like it's not going, as much as I don't want it to be a part of my life, anything in which can be charged to make your life shittier, to create a new tool to solve the shittier part of your life, will always exist, right? Like that is... Yeah, no Oxford comma. I did see that. It does bother me when I see this, when there's no Oxford comma. It just makes me want to throw this thing out the window right here, by the way, for those that don't know. But anytime that someone can actually make your life worse and then sell you the solution, it always happens. And by the way, that would be also known as React. Anyways, I got him. So it's important to develop a reasonable comfort around its use. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I used Copilot for a year, and I really wanted to understand if I like Copilot. I've actually turned off Copilot, and I genuinely feel like a better coder again. I genuinely feel like my productivity as a coder has probably 10x'd again, just because I turned it off, because I realized that I was just becoming stupid. I was constantly waiting for Copilot to finish my sentences, and I realized that it's just like I kept turning off my brain repetitively because I was waiting for a thing, right? I realized that that's a tall order when there's so much written about the uncertainty of how AI will affect your job. Several years ago, I wrote a piece for Forbes.com titled How Artificial Intelligence is Preventing Cognitive Overload, Compassion Fatigue, and Job Burnout. Yo, bro, that article's stupid. That's all I gotta say. Doctor, okay? Doctor. That was a terrible named article. The article was based on speculation from various experts about optimistic expectations of AI. Just so everybody understands, in the 60s, if you watch the old cartoons, they were told and believed that AI would be around not very long afterwards to run our lives, do all the laundry, do everything, okay? Like, this was a very well-known speculation. So in the 60s, they thought AI by the 70s was going to, take over our life. By the 70s, they thought by the 80s, AI was going to take over our life. By the 80s, they realized this ain't going anywhere. And for the next 20 to 30 years, it was just Sag times where people are like, AI kind of sucks. And then AI, with reinforcement learning and some other techniques started to come out, they're like, okay, maybe this is going somewhere. And then this is where this is where all the algorithms started coming about for specific user grouping and all that. And then people are like, okay, this is pretty nice. It's not that bad. It's just really good at taking advantage of people's attention. This is fantastic. And that's where we thought it was landing. And then people were just semi-optimistic about it. Then LLMs entered the scene, and everyone's like, this is the most magical thing I've ever seen. And now everyone thinks that the world is going to change again. It's almost like we've seen this before. It's almost, just maybe, we've seen this before. All right, anyways, let's keep on going. Let's see. This article is based on speculation from various experts about optimistic expectations of AI, but scientific findings released today contradict those expectations and reignite apprehensions about AI's impact on employee overload and burnout. I will say one thing. Let's, for a second, let's pretend that AI will make you more efficient. Let's say that at one point you could accomplish this. Whatever this square represents, you could accomplish this. But then, with AI, you are now able to accomplish this. All right? Let's just say that this is it. This means this is the new baseline. This is the new expectation. Whatever space you fill as an employee is the expectation that the company will have on you. This is why it's so dangerous to go into a company and work for your first few months 80 hours a week. because then this is what they expect out of you. And when you decide to do something like, say, only 60, you want to take a break, you don't want to be working as hard, you want to just be a little bit, easier on life, they're like, whoa, why are you underperforming? What's going on here? Like, are you okay? And really, you're not underperforming. You're vastly overperforming. It's just that what your perception of who you are versus what you're actually doing are not aligned in reality. And so if AI can make 40 hours a week appear to be 80, then your baseline expectation will be that. And so I'm a bit surprised that somebody with all this fancy credentialing did not immediately see this coming. Like, you have all the credentialing in the universe. You're writing big fancy articles. Like, how do you not know the basics of how a job works? Is it because you've been in academia too long and you don't realize that, like, this is just the world? No matter wherever you set your bar at, that's where people think your normal is. And it doesn't matter how Herculean your effort was to get to that, they think that that's normal because they work for Forbes. Academics are in a bubble? Yeah. I start a role actually being shitty on purpose so I can give the perception of getting better over time. It most certainly is a strategy. All right, global study reveals bad news about employee AI skills. A new global study. Is this literally just an ad? Yeah, this is just straight up an ad. Could you minimally link me to the study? Like that, I feel like you can't say that it's a study and then you just hit me with an ad. In partnership with the Upwork Research Institute, Tory interviewed 2,500 global C-suite executives. By the way, this is not a great way. Actually, it could be interesting. I mean, it could be interesting because you're getting the distributed effectively, what you're getting is the perception of how work has changed across a lot of companies. Is it a good perception? It probably depends on the executives you interview, right? I think a lot of people just have an immediate negative perception of anyone that's in the C-suite. But that is sometimes unfair because there's a lot of people that are in the C-suite of a company of 10, right? They're still like, they're like still like boots on the ground writing code. Full-time employees and freelancers. Okay, I didn't read past the comma, so there is full-time employees and all that. Results show that optimistic expectations about AI's impact are not aligning with reality faced by many employees. Gee, it's almost like if you would have used an AI for 10 minutes, you could have figured this out, that it can't solve all the things. The study identifies a disconnect between the high expectations of managers and the actual experience of employees using AI. You know, I kind of feel like high expectation managers in whatever this means, right? The high expectations of managers and employees using AI. When I hear this, what I kind of think about is that there's this notion that you see it all the time in chat where people just ask for the quickest possible shortcut to, say, getting the job that they really, really want or working in an area that they really, really want to be in. And when I see these things, I kind of see the same problem, which is that there's this notion that there does actually exist a silver bullet. And I'm not convinced that there's a silver bullet at all. I don't think there's any possible way that life will get easier. I think there's just hard work, and that's it. But TikTok said it exists. Fair. Despite 96% of C-suite executives expecting AI to boost productivity, study reveals that 77% of employees using AI says it has added to their workload and created challenges in achieving the expected productivity gains. Okay, so that's kind of a confusing sentence. So let's just try to think about what this kind of means. So it sounds like, here's your expected workload. This is the expected increase via AI. But what it doesn't say is it decreasing their normal output or is it increasing their normal output but not to the expected level? And thus, perception is broken, right? What you should be, what people expect of you versus what you're actually delivering. In other words, is this the same thing as the 80-hour-a-week person going down to 60? So despite actually doing a lot more work than the average person, perceptionally, is it worse, right? Also, I think the second thing that's really, really unique in this is 96% of C-suite executives expect AI to boost productivity. I mean, damn. I always want to believe that people that are in the C-suite are the smartest among us. Okay, I do want to believe that, right? Because I want to believe that all leaders have been brought forward due to skill and meritocracy. Okay, I want to believe it. I want to. We should all want to believe that. Okay, because that's the ideal of mankind. But when I see 96% of C-suites that they interviewed, either A, they have a bias problem, which we don't know if they have a bias problem. Okay, they very well, like, can we be real for a second? That this is like a Forbes article. So the C-suite that they're probably talking to may not be the same C-suite that's actually people doing real things, okay? This could be like the C-suite of like, Siemens, right? Like of Siemens, where it's like, oh, they have 100,000 employees and these people haven't thought about work in any sort of real way in super, super long. Non-biased C-suite hiring, right? Like, it depends on who you're talking to. I'm very curious if you had the same amount of people that you interviewed that were like C-suite people on companies that are filled with 10 to 20 tech employees. Like, I wonder how far their thoughts change, right? LinkedIn rotted their brain. Dude, I know LinkedIn has actually rotted their brain. These are LinkedIn C-suites, right? That's how I like to think of it, at least. Anyways, but I cannot believe 96% of C-suite executives expect that. Not only is AI increasing the workloads of full-time employees, it's hampering productivity and contributed to employee burnout. If your expectation, again, if somehow you're expected to produce more because now you have AI, add in the sparkles. Add the effing sparkles in. Okay? AI. Then yeah, I can see this like totally causing burnout and being actually really, really bad. Let's pretend for a second that AI actually does increase your ability to work, and you can move at a C times X rate, in which X is your normal workload and C is greater than 1, right? So it's like, okay, it's better. But even then, you're probably being well over perceived, and then you're in this like burnout land. To add insult to injury, nearly half, 47% of employees using AI say they don't know how to achieve the expected productivity gains their employer expects. Damn. Even if this article is trash and they did bad research, the fact that anybody feels that because they got just imagine that for a second. Someone's like, here's AI. Now go faster. Like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy to feel like to have that thrust upon you. Man. And 40% feel that their company is asking too much of them when it comes to AI. Workers are feeling the strain from rising productivity demands, with 1 in 3 full-time employees saying that they will likely quit their jobs in the next 6 months due to feeling overworked and burnt out. Crazy. This is 9 women can deliver one baby, or can deliver a baby in 1 month mentality. This really is. This really is the old 9 women play, right? The majority of global C-suite leaders, 81%, acknowledge that their increased demands on workers, that they have increased demands on their workers in the past year. Oh, they're saying the quiet part out loud? Crazy. What? They said it out loud? We got AI now, right? Dude, I want you to go hit that word calculator, and I want you to go faster. Consequently, 71% of full-time employees are burnt out, and 65% reporting struggling with their employer's demands on their productivity. All right, so I think I can kind of guess how this study happened. My guess is that they found every company that has adopted AI as a means to boost productivity, hence the reason why there's 96% of C-suite expecting AI to boost productivity. I think that's probably how they did their selection. I think the bias is inherently selected into it to thus give these much higher numbers. My guess is that there is no study. You could be wrong, or you could be right, absolutely. Expecting miracles with AI, classic. They're going to walk on water. At any moment, we're going to walk on water. The majority of global C-suite leaders, they have increased that. Consequently, 71% of full-time employees are burnt out, and 65% report struggling with their employer's demands on their productivity. Jeez. But don't be too quick to despair. C-suite executives bringing in freelance talent into their workforce say freelancers are meeting productivity demands and often exceeding them, outpacing full-time employees. If you look at if you look at how I highlighted this, BS. I do feel like there is a, Upwork mentioned. I do think that there's most certainly, we know that this study is from Upwork, and Upwork's entire goal is to do freelancing. So I do feel like this is most certainly like a hidden ad going on here. But for a second, let's pretend this is real. Why would that exist? Well, one thing, if you're a full-time employee, whether you work 80, 60, or 20 hours, you're paid the same. Freelancers, on the other hand, 80 is much bigger than 60, which is much bigger than 20, right? So freelancers have a linear value add. So every hour worked is 1 more hour of earning money. Also, in my head, there's 2 types of freelancers. There's freelancer type 1, which is the person that just wants the freedom to be able to do whatever they want to do, right? Whatever they want to do, they just want the freedom to be able to go out and work when they want to. They want to work from wherever they want to. They want to be able to have kind of like that free, nomadic, whatever you call life, right? And then number 2, I feel like there's a set of freelancers who are just trying to land their first full-time gig by using freelancing as a means to get experience. I'm sure there's a third type that I don't know, but in my head, those are the 2 types. Yeah, there is a 3. If anyone would like to hit me with a 3. 1, actually likes coding. Oh, that's 3, money. Do you think the money is... Okay, so people are saying money. Is the money that much better as a freelancer? Yes, it is? Yeah. They get paid remote dollars. Okay. That's fair. That's actually really fair. And so I will say that, of course, freelancers probably are meeting productivity demands because they're able... I mean, they're motivated, right? They have, again, they just have a linear growth amount. Every hour they worked is an hour they get paid. And so it makes perfect sense that if they want to get paid more, like, that's good for them. So... they're hired for X amount of hours and they just completely crush it. So I feel like it's a pretty biased way to state that. Also, TJ, you're a very sus user. I'm glad that you get paid in NeoVim plugins, which are in fact tax-free. Facts. The level of well-being and engagement has improved, and they have doubled the following outcomes for their business organizational agility. I literally don't even know what that means. Like, does that mean they can touch their toes? Does that mean they can run a shuttle run in 7.9 seconds? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Quality of work being produced, innovation, scalability, revenue and bottom line, efficiency. The findings also show that 80% of leaders who leverage freelance talent says it's essential for their business, and 38% of leaders who don't already leverage this talent pool intend to start in the coming year. So I know this is, obviously we know that this is an ad at this point from Upwork, right? This is Upwork likely doing a huge biased study to get the right people in to be able to create a kind of, an environment of fear. That's how I read this, is that this makes a lot of full-time people sweat, realizing that they're not on the right side of things. But I will say that there might be something true about this, that I do think the remote work revolution has also made the freelance, quote-unquote, revolution that this article is describing much more of a possibility. I think a lot of companies were simply not even really able to leverage remote freelance working 5 years ago. I think it'd be really, really hard to leverage this. And I think that now that every company is a ton of companies, not every company, but a ton of companies are now much better at this. They are much more able to take advantage of remote work, in which technically could be at a much lower wage, right? There's nothing that says remote work, or not remote work, but freelancing has to be more expensive than full-time employees. Right? Like if you have a company that's in the Silicon Valley paying $250,000 per mid-level engineer, and now you can go hire in the UK where the expectation of a good job is significantly less for a mid-level engineer. Like right now, what's the mid-level right now in the UK for anyone that's in the UK? What is the expected income of a mid-level engineer? We're seeing somewhere 3,000 pounds. Well, pound me, daddy. So we're seeing, people are saying somewhere, 60 seems to be the most obvious. If we had a histogram, we'd see something like 50 to 70 being the most obvious. Y'all are wild. And so before or after taxes? Before. Who states after taxes, right? That's crazy to state after taxes. We're going to pay you 70 grand post taxes. What? And so you can imagine that I could pay you 150 as a freelancer, in, of course, British pounds, and that would actually end up being cheaper than hiring somebody in the Valley, right? I could make it much more costly, right? So you could see that this could, you can see how this works, right? You can see why this works. Yeah, I don't know, because India also has a much different time zone. I think as the time zone goes further, it becomes harder to do this. It's really hard to have two sides of the world trying to run something. I think that's really difficult. I'm a LATAM and I'm getting 60K USD senior. Let's go. That's great. Let's go. I don't have a job. Too bad. Yeah, LATAM. I know a lot of people are using LATAM. Yeah, you don't realize how good you have it in the US. I know. I do realize. I do realize, because I'm lucky enough to stream, to realize that pay is not equal. I get all of you guys make fun of us for our healthcare. I get it. I'm not arguing that we have good healthcare. Okay, we have the worst of all the forms of healthcare because it's neither single payer and it's neither free market. It's actually like the worst possible situation, which is semi free market and semi single payer. Just leads to like literally just lawyers win. Lawyers make all the money and insurance make all the money. Okay. It's literally the worst possible. Literally the worst possible. It's ran by the mafia. Exactly. It's actually the worst possible. But we also have really great there's also really great wages, which makes it pretty good for those that are in a high wage job, right? So it's like the trade-off can be fine, depending on what you're doing. While business leaders are investing heavily in AI, the study shows that most organizations are currently failing to unlock full productivity value of technology. Our research shows that introducing new technologies into outdated work models and systems is failing to unlock the full expected productivity value of AI. Literally, wait, there's more. I know. I'm curious what this even means. Can somebody pretend you're as dumb as me? What does this even mean? Like, what is a process that prevents this magical AI that is better and makes you faster, that this doesn't work? I don't even understand that. Says Kelly Monahan, Managing Director and Head of Upwork Research Institute. Really, while it's certainly possible for AI to simultaneously boost productivity and improve employee well-being, this outcome will require a fundamental shift in how we organize talent and work. Really? Such as freelancing? Like, I hate to tell you this. There has never been a productivity boosting thing that results in people just working less. Like, I hate to break this to you. It's just that, that's just not how it works, right? In order to reap the full productivity value of AI, leaders need to create an AI-enhanced work model. Damn, that doesn't even make any sense. This includes leveraging alternative talent pools, that are AI-ready. See, I knew it. Yeah. Co-creating measures of productivity with their workforces and developing deep understanding of and proficiency in implementing a skills-based approach to hiring and talent development. Only then will leaders be able to avoid risks of losing critical workers and advance their innovation agenda. What this is really trying to say right now is that Upwork would like to take a piece of the pie and take none of the risk of creating an actual product, but to be able to rent seek on everybody. And this is how we can AI scare you into hiring more. What do they call this? More what? What is it called? Freelance. There we go. More freelance employees. That's how I read this. Honestly, that's exactly how I read this. This feels like a scare agenda, right? Like, oh, if you really want, your workforce isn't ready, but if you want to tap into a pool that's AI ready, okay, AI native, AI ready, so go low, like just nonsense Valley speak. These sentences are AI written themselves, unironically. I think they might be. Exactly correct. 100%. Let's see. Dude, they take so much money too. They take so dang much money, which is crazy. Where'd you go? I just saw one I wanted to read. Damn it, did I lose it already? Teach, I disagree. People used to work substance farming every day of the week. I think we work substantially less than we used to, at least, or it's possible to do so. Yes, I mean, fair-ish take. I think people will fill the time with some level of work. I do think, farmers typically worked 6 days a week, 7 days a week. That's true, depending on where you're from. All right, did TJ just prove me wrong? Yeah, I do think there was a point of time where that is most certainly true. Then at some point things have changed. Now, since the dollar moved off gold, I think you're right. But it's just not a never thing. That's true. Okay, also fair and factual. Fair and factual. I'll let that go. I do love that you've managed to work in the dollar moving off the gold political stance in this. Beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Mohan argues that integrating new technologies like AI into outdated work models and systems is falling short of delivering the full productivity gains we've anticipated. She explains that to truly unlock AI's potentials, leaders need to fundamentally shift how they organize talent and work. She lists the 4 strategies employers need to consider. Invest beyond the tech stack. Invest beyond the tech stack to effectively implement AI within their organizations. By the way, I think this is actually all super dangerous recommendations. I don't actually think we know what an AI organizational level workflow should look like, if it is even possible to achieve the same level of productivity / more, right? Like, I don't think we even know. So betting your company, if you're listening and you're going to bet your company on this, I'd be exceptionally careful, okay? Careful. Dip your toes in. All right. Our research identified 3 core investment opportunities that enable an AI-enhanced work model, which leads to higher workforce productivity and less burnout. Bring in outside experts to help your workforce with AI projects. We found that 48% of global C-suite leaders are using freelancers to jumpstart a delayed AI project, and 39% says using freelance has doubled their innovation outcomes. AI adoption is highest among freelancers, so don't overlook this talent pool. Geez. Again, it's almost like there's some sort of bias in what this. What is Monahan? Where does Monahan work? I can't remember. Rethink how to measure productivity. The workforce is more likely to want its productivity measured against creativity, innovation, contribution to strategy, and adaptability that is efficient-only metrics. Workers who report higher productivity and less stress are those actively involved in co-creating their productivity metrics. Wow, I couldn't read there for a second. I would say any micro measurement of productivity is always wrong when it comes to creative work. There obviously has to be timelines and deadlines. There has to be some sort of expectation that something comes out. Work goes in, X months later, something has to come out. That should really be the measurement of productivity. It's very, very hard for me to believe that you can measure productivity in any more precise of a way than something in these larger kind of milestones. And second, one huge thing that is not being mentioned a single time in any of this, which is the cost of freelance long term. Which freelance is great and all, but I want. Okay, can we be honest with ourselves? Can all the freelancers in here, you can speak up, which is freelancing is not known for producing really well thought through and long-term considering code. Typically, it's not known for that. Now, I'm sure there's people that do that. I'm sure there's some really good freelancers who do it. Right? You said doo-doo. I did say doo-doo. I did doo-doo. I explicitly only accept dirty prototyping and pioneering projects. Yeah. And I don't think there's any, I truly don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right? Like, I do actually think there's something really, really good about that process, about having somebody go through and find a bunch of edge cases for you. Like, imagine if you're a company, you are worried about building some sort of thing, and you wanted to know all the, you wanted to be able to have some sort of basic, like, hey, I don't want to spend my workforce doing this. Let's have somebody else outside implement this thing. Then they can do a write-up. We can figure some things out. We can see a basic prototype of everything, and from there we can rewrite it to fit into our, our knowledge domain inside of our world. I do think that there's something that's probably not bad about that, but there is just no incentive. Yeah, there is no incentive to build long-term stuff. Typically, freelancing, as far as I can tell, does not concern itself heavily with long-term value versus short-term value. Now, I'm not saying that not all people do that, but I've seen it enough, right? I've seen it enough to know that it's not 100%. You're essentially describing the role of AppSec contractor. They're super essential since most devs kind of suck at coding defensively. You think so? Do you think most devs suck at coding defensively? Absolutely. I'm going to hit you with my take. Most devs suck at coding. And then you can just stop right there. Okay? You don't have to say defensively. Like, you just don't. You actually don't have to say that. And I'm gonna also tell you something. That pool of devs that suck at coding include you and me. Okay? Right now, I'm gonna have John Carmack as good coder, and everybody else in this pool. Incoming even more lukewarm take. Most streamers can't read. Okay. Oh my gosh. Start moving towards skill-based hiring. Like, what were you doing beforehand? and workflows rather than relying on job descriptions to organize work. That sentence actually doesn't make sense, and this makes me think that this was written by an LLM. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Start moving towards skill-based hiring and workflows rather than relying on descriptions to organize work. Doing so requires an investment in making your workforce's existing skills visible, and then developing those skills that augment AI work. This is actually written by an LLM. You can tell because it's just so shitty. Like, everything's absolutely correct about it, but it's just so shitty. Like, it doesn't actually have sense to it. It's because of the passage of time. You know, we all exist in the context in which we exist. Can we just be real for a second? Is this a Kamala Harris speech? Is that what we're reading right now? Have we been unburdened by what has been? I can't tell because this is what it feels like. I feel like I'm unburdened by what has been right now. I'm so unburdened. I'm unburdening. I'm unburden maxing right now. Our survey found that 40% of leaders today have high level of awareness of the AI skills within their workforce. What? Monahan suggests that employees consider the following actions. All right. Be empowered and encouraged to engage with AI by participating in AI training programs and provide feedback on AI productivity tools and metrics to help shape effective company strategies and goals. Is AI training programs called just doing your job with Copilot? What does that even mean? Every worker should now think of themselves as a critical part of R&D, rethinking how to best do their work and accomplish their goals in light of AI advancements. Embrace outside expertise to come alongside you and alleviate workload concerns and teach you how to best leverage AI. Freelancers are demonstrating how AI can significantly boost productivity while enhancing well-being and engagement among employees. What does this even mean? Like, what is this? What am I even reading? C-suite leaders are increasingly acknowledging that freelancers play a critical role in driving business success. Both employers and employees should tap highly skilled freelancers to bring their specialized expertise and skill sets in AI while fostering well-being, growth, and innovation in the workplace. The amount of times it says the word well-being, just wild. The level of well-being, improve employee well-being, enhancing well-being, fostering well-being. This was a great article, by the way. This was a great article. It was absolutely fantastic. You know why it was fantastic? Because we get to read absolute crap. And we get to realize just how bad it is. Would read again. Yeah, would read again. This was a fantastic AI. It has a fantastic title. I mean, this is going to clickbait the shit out of people. And then I get to own AI. Okay, so for me, this was a great article. I want you to know that I absolutely love this, okay? Good title, absolutely able to shit on some stuff. Well-being. It's fantastic. Dude needs 2 or 3 more PhDs. Study finds that this article had AI cooking. Again.